Okay. All right, Brian. After all that, now we start a show.
Yes. Sorry.
It's all good. It's usually my stuff that goes down. Okay, here we go in 3. Wait, is that on? Yes, it is. 3, 2, 1.
Put it into aspirin and you glue it on to the thing. What is she doing? Oh, wow. She goes into nature, takes it out, and washes her hand in the nasty shit water.
The Morning Stream. Can you dig it?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is The Morning Stream for Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
You know what? I'm okay, actually. I think I'm okay.
Good.
I'm tired, though. I didn't sleep great. I feel fine now, but I'm just a little slow and a little meh. I don't know what the deal is with the sleeping. It's just some nights, a couple nights ago, I had the best sleep. It was just so good. Woke up, refreshed, ready for the day. Let's go. It was like Saturday or something. Today, I don't know. I'm just slow and slow. Oh, you know what? That would have been Sunday. Because Saturday I had the poops from the freaking Zachary's misorder. So forget about Saturday. Bad morning. But today I just had weird dreams all night. I didn't eat late or anything. I didn't do anything to cause that. I didn't stay up watching TV or movies or anything to that. I just went to bed at 10. I should have slept fine. I don't know.
Shoulda. All right, I'm going to say something that's probably going to generate a lot of emails saying, Brian, you shouldn't do that. So here it comes.
All right.
I take Tylenol PM pretty much every night.
Yeah.
And it's helped me sleep, but I do notice that my dreams are weirder with it than they are without it.
Ah.
And I don't know if that's
it's that drug in there that what's that stuff called? Crap. It's the part that helps you sleep.
Melatonin?
I don't think it's melatonin. It's
something else.
Damn it! What's that called? It's also in not insomnia pills. What are those called? They're called I can't remember. Unisom. That's it. Is it Unisom?
Well, Unisom's a brand name.
Right, but it's in that stuff.
Alcohol, crack, meth. I love. You know what? Our Benadryl, our chat room is just so helpful.
They really are helpful when you need them, aren't they? Okay, here you go. I got it for you. Ingredients. Tylenol PM. Common over-the-counter medication used to treat pain, fever, runny nose, sneezing, watery eyes, and sleeplessness. In addition, Tylenol PM is available in rapid release. These are in gels that allow the medication to go directly into your system. As with all medications, you should be aware of ingredients in Tylenol PM and its possible side effects. So here you go. We knew about the acetaminophen. That's the painkiller. We knew about that.
Sure.
Now
and sometimes I have a headache, so it actually does help with that. I probably don't need to take it as much as I do, but
now you got the diphenhydramine.
Sure.
This is the antihistamine bit for the runny nose and the whatnot.
Diphenhydramine or something like that. Sure.
Something like that. And then you got other active ingredients. Let's see. If you do the rapid release, is that the kind you have? Do you have rapid release?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because that has the benzyl alcohol in it, which is part of the what is the benz? It's part of the benz. I can't find the sleepy part. It's in here somewhere, damn it.
Well, and people are saying, suggesting maybe just do Benadryl, which I guess is cheaper and doesn't have the acetaminophen, which is bad for your liver. Which
that's true.
I don't need anything bad for my liver. I'm already mean to my liver.
Yeah,
meaner than I should be.
Benadryl goes absorbs through your stomach, so that's a better option. And Benadryl does this for me. It works for me. I take like 2 of those, and it conks me out pretty good.
But Benadryl is like allergy medicine, right? So doesn't that just introduce another? Like, well, you're taking something to treat a symptom that you don't have.
Well, sort of. So it's always been drowsy, right? It makes you drowsy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that would put you to sleep.
I just don't want to take straight sleeping pills because that's
those are
bad.
weird. Yeah, you don't want those. You can get addicted to those. But this stuff, well, it depends on the kind, I guess. But But Benadryl, here's the two problems with Benadryl as Dan has explained it to me, because I actually had this conversation with Dan, the pharmaceutical man.
Sure.
He said that it will dry you out a little bit, so you want to stay nice and hydrated, because Benadryl has a tendency to just dry you out. It'll, make it so you pee less and things like that. You want to just stay really hydrated with it. And then the other thing is you'll get a tolerance to it, and it'll just sort of stop working. Like you won't get tired from it after a while.
Okay.
That's what he says. So I use it sparingly. It's like one of those nights where it's like, oh my gosh, it's 4 a.m. What am I doing up? I'll take one.
Well, and that's where the problem lies for me. I don't have any problem falling asleep, but the Tylenol PM is what keeps me asleep. Like basically, I'll fall asleep 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock, somewhere in that range. If I don't do the Tylenol PM, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, can't get back to sleep, sit there and toss and turn, finally get back to sleep, and then I'm groggy and horrible the rest of the day.
Yep.
Melatonin does not work for me. And
Same. It doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Zip.
And that's actually that was what I was thinking. All right, I'll take a melatonin before bed. Nope, didn't work. Still, again, had no problem falling asleep, but it was the waking up in the middle of the night part. And then the melatonin in the middle of the night. Like if I wake up and let's try a melatonin. Nope, that didn't work for me either.
No, and someone told me, says, oh, you got to do it for like a week, and then your body gets used to it or whatever. I did that once with melatonin. Still didn't do jack. Still didn't do it. Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
You know what? I might. I will try I'm going to switch to Benadryl.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot. We'll give it a. Give it a run.
You could be like me and have 2 bottles in your medicine cabinet. They're both pink. They're both Equate brand. Okay. And one is the knockoff Benadryl, same ingredients. And the other is Lady Laxatives for ladies. And they look exactly the same, these 2 bottles. They're the same hue of pink. They're the same exact looking height and label and everything. And if you don't read the words, they're identical in every way. So if Mr. Magoo is in there, like I am sometime, rubbing his eyes going, oh, I just need to sleep, and they take a couple of laxatives, boom, wrong deal. You'll get up for different reasons. So.
I could do the Sublime method, which is to smoke 2 joints in the morning, smoke 2 joints at night, smoke 2 joints in the afternoon, and it makes me feel all right.
Yeah, see, just like the song. Oh, you know what? Some people may write in and say, Brian, don't you live in Colorado? Why don't you try some sort of regimen of THC-based...
Because I can't do it. It's not a matter of not wanting to or not... well, I mean, there is the kind of like, I don't really have a desire to. Yeah. But it's also the fact that, Tina, to keep her clearance, to keep her... her credentials, there cannot be any pot in the house.
Yeah, you can't do it. So, all right. How about
sorry,
copious amounts of alcohol right before bed? How about that?
Oh yeah, it's totally legal. Yeah, totally
that's fine. Yeah. Just down it. Just pound down a bottle of vodka, and you're good.
I've got some delicious sake right now. There's a sake place. Well, we've talked about the sake place. The place that the next day I woke up with a one of their little sake glasses that I apparently shoved in my jacket pocket when we left.
Oh yeah, right.
Brought home and had no memory of doing that. Anyway, they are, even though they're not open to the public, they're still producing sake and doing these infused sakes. And I've got one right now that is beet infused. It's freaking delicious.
Really?
Like a beet infused, yeah. If you don't like beets, you won't like this sake. But if you do, then it's great.
So it's got the flavor of the beet in it, is what you're saying.
Got the flavor of the beet. It's got the beet. Okay. It's got the beet. It's got the beet. Yeah.
I don't normally like beets. Not usually a beet fan, although pickled beets are amazing. I do like those.
Well, it's the red pickled beet flavor. Oh, so it's more like a pickled beet sake.
Then I'd probably like it actually. Because I do like it.
And then I've also got a jalapeno margarita sake right now that's really good too.
Look at you. Well, your sleep problems are over, Brian. Just down those at night.
I should just down one of those. Let's see how that works. No, you know what? The alcohol right before bed really messes me up as far as dreams.
Oh, yeah. And then if you have messed up dreams, then you're not getting the sleep you want. And then the whole thing's worthless. I just want to knock myself out like when I was 15. Imagine yourself at 15. All right?
Imagine
you come home from a hard day of arcade going and date having, right?
Uh-huh.
And you just hit the bed and you just conk out And you could sleep
Yeah.
till 4 the
Oh,
next
those were the
afternoon,
days.
and you didn't dream
Right?
about anything. Oh, man.
Like sleep until 11 or noon or whatever. I mean, I envy Tristan's ability to do that as much as it drove me nuts. And it's probably why, as a parent, I was like, get out of bed and do something today. There was a little twinge of jealousy that probably sparked a lot of that, saying,
Yeah.
God, I wish I could do that.
And just let me have the 11 to 7. I'll get up still and be very productive all day, and I'll go to bed at a time that's not, super early. I won't be like the freaking old people at the home. I'll go to bed on
Right.
time and I'll get up on time, but let the time I'm in bed be blissful, wakeless
Yeah.
sleep.
That's why that question we had on Thursday or Friday about which would you prefer? And one of the choices was never need sleep again.
Yeah.
Sleep is when sleep works, it's great.
Right.
But on the whole, sleep is overrated.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Anyway, whatever. Sleep.
Anyway.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Say it again.
All right. Speaking of nothing like we were talking about, we got emails.
Yes.
Couple of short ones.
Yeah.
This one's from Not Bill.
And you've duplicated it, and I like the headline you wrote right here.
Oh, did I duplicate that one? Crap.
You did, but I like the headline you put on this one right here. You want to read that?
I do too. It's called The Dong String Theory. And I meant dog string theory is what I meant. But let's read that one first. This is from
Our whole universe was in it.
It's called, his name is Not Bill. That's the name he used.
Not Bill.
Not
yes.
Bill. Yep. He says this: the dog strong. He means string. So he got that. That's probably why I wrote dong, as I was reading strong on his name.
Probably why. Yes.
The dog string may have been from the dog's food bag. The zip string in the open when you open the bag. Question. No, it wasn't one of those. It's hard to explain. I mean, does
your dog food bag come with a string that you pull to open the top?
No, we cut it.
Okay.
We cut it, and then when we are done, we roll it and seal it with a big clip, and
Okay.
it's shared between the dogs. And also, I do it every morning. I would have noticed the string bit. I mean, she's a chewer and stuff, so she likes to find. And we've trained her like chew the toys, and it's possible one of those toys with some material on it or something. He ended up like Weezer and walked away with the string.
If you want, yeah, right.
To destroy this plushie. That's basically what happened. And she does destroy them. My gosh, she just goes through them like crazy. So the current working theory is that one of these fuzzy ones had a string, and she horked it down, and that was the end of that. So what are you gonna do, Brian? I can't do anything about this. It's just
No.
If I see it, I pull it out. I'll try to preempt this by not having things with strings in it.
Just keep strings out of the house.
Because
No
I don't
string.
want her strangling her butt, or her, what do you call it, her intestines,
Yeah, right.
her butt.
Oh yeah. Princess Dagger 17 says, was it floss?
Oh, well, it was.
Was it that thin?
It was.
Because that's common. Like dogs will find a piece of floss that's like slightly dangling out of the trash can,
Yeah.
and then they'll spaghetti business that right out of there.
Yeah, that's possible. Now that you say it, it's possible. I mean, it was dark black when I pulled it out,
Sure.
but that's
It's been used.
it had been used.
String was black. It's not supposed to be black.
It's supposed to be black. It picked up all her plaque from her black plaque. Anyway, I don't know. That's a theory. We can go with that one.
All right.
I'm all right with that.
All right.
Totally fine.
Cool. Anyway, all right. Well, let's maybe the chat room's right. Maybe we should move on from this topic.
Oh, they don't want to like keep talking about dog string and pulling it out of their butts. That's not what they want.
The dog yo-yo. No.
Oh, okay.
Apparently not.
All right. Well,
Yeah. Huh.
we won't. I'll tell you what, chat room. We're done talking about me slowly and painfully pulling a string out of the back end of my dog. Okay, we'll stop doing that.
The
now.
cow says moo.
I love that idea. It's my favorite thing you said yesterday. Is
little plastic ring on the end of it.
yeah. But if it was to say a thing the dog would actually say, it would be, "Give me all your food. Give me all your human food. Give me all your food."
Yeah.
That's all it would say.
Do they still make toys that have that? Like, are pull strings a thing of the past because they've replaced it with just buttons and
I don't know.
watch batteries that play that make the sounds in the doll toys?
Let's find out. If I go pull string dolls and I go to Amazon.
or something.
Yeah, let's look at the Amazon.com. Oh yeah, you still get a Woody doll, but that doesn't count though, because Woody is one of the, he's supposed to be an old-fashioned doll,
Right.
and so if you're gonna make a Woody doll, of course it's gonna make sound when you pull it. That doesn't count. We got to find a better one.
You mean just because it's based on a movie property that has that?
That has the string, yeah. Plus,
has
it
the
represents
string,
a whole category of olden times toys that all had strings. So let's see. Okay, there's a $9 flying pixie fairy princess for kids, totally nondescript, no actual name. Oh, here's a pull string talking Rick from Rick and Morty. You can get that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that works.
Yeah, there's a Disney Frozen pull string Olaf plush. You know, everyone's
Yeah, 'cause
favorite
even
thing.
Cian says, I guess it was more that the that it's a danger, right? Because if you pull that string out, it wraps around a toddler's neck.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad. So even the CNCs have been replaced by having a slot machine pull handle.
Oh yeah, that's
That
what you
makes
want to
the
train
guy
them
go
for. That's what you want to get them ready for, is the slot machines.
Well, the slot machines don't have the slot machine pull. I guess they still do, but it's more like pushing the buttons on the front of the machine. I think you can still, if you're a purist, you
Yeah.
can still pull the handle on the slot machine.
There's a
to
few
get
of
it.
those. You see them mostly at like gas stations and stuff in Vegas. but-
Right.
So here's one, chat. We're looking at one now. This is a great big, what's this called? Fisher Price's See and Say the Farmer Says. It's a lot like what you were talking about. You do the cat, and the cat says meow, and the goose says
Right.
honk or whatever.
But it's got the plastic pull down thing on the side, right?
Yep,
As opposed
no-
to a string.
No strings. Do you think they actually had kids like get all strangled up in those? Do you think that happened, or was that just a fear
I
that
think
it
it
would?
had to have, right? I mean,
Sometimes it's just them jumping the gun and going, "Oh, we don't want that. Let's."
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if somebody in a meeting said, "Bill, we pretty sure that one of these days a kid's going to strangle himself," and they went, "Oh,
They were
geez,
pretty
you're right."
short. I mean, it would have to be a small. It would have to be a small neck.
Mhm.
Yeah, TVZ Gun says just check online for main weight toys. All right, we got here the bag of glass.
Yeah,
We've got
bag of glass. I used to love that.
yeah.
The fit. There was something.
Second best thing ever Dan Aykroyd did, right?
Wait, what's the first? Oh, first was Grosser on.
Grosser,
yeah.
of course, yeah.
Greatest villain character in the history of films, man. Grosser. He was so
Yeah.
good. All right. The second email we got was from John. This was about the smelling superpower idea. You know, we were saying, does anybody in the comic books have a smelling superpower?
Yeah.
Couldn't think of anybody other than, Wolverine, stuff like that. And here's what he says. He says, smelling superpower, Ukrainian TV show on Netflix called The Sniffer. Is that true?
I didn't know about this. Is this an American? So Netflix, The Sniffer.
That's actually a thing.
This feels like a Mystery Men superhero character, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Oh
but-
yeah. Oh Leah, is that Tim Roth? Oh no, it looks like Tim Roth. The first photo that comes up
It's the Russian Tim
absolutely
Roth.
looks like
Yeah.
An extraordinary sense of smell gives a crime investigator unique insight into solving mysteries, but his gift takes a toll on his personal life. I'm quite sure it would.
Wow. It's Russian language, too, so all I can picture is this guy going around, I think I smelled something funny. Something funny smells bad.
Yeah.
It must
I
be
feel
a
like,
crime has been committed here.
I feel like next time we have a film sack watch along, maybe we watch one episode of The Sniffer.
That'd be all right, because it's all
subtitled,
yeah. Well, that's interesting. First two seasons are on Netflix as of 2017. Third season is now available as well. Yeah, it was a Russian show. Huh. I'd watch
There
that.
we go. Captain Kipper said, by 1989, the chatty ring, the pull cord, pull string deal, had been replaced by a lever that could be pulled to make the toy talk after a Rhode Island girl
Yeah.
became blind when the string snapped off and hit her in the eye.
Oh,
Dang.
I was thinking strangle. That's
yeah,
almost worse.
that's
It's almost worse. You
Jeez.
can run in and clip it from the kid before he chokes to death. You can't stop it from whacking him in the eye.
no. Wow.
Ouch. Okay, that's no good. Then fine, this is good. But isn't there a pinch quality to this lever? Because my memory of when the kids had them,
For sure.
you'd pull that lever down and then it would slowly go back up. And there was like, if you had your finger in there, you were pinched.
Right. Was it the Teddy Ruxpin doll that would eat hair? Like hair would get into its mouth and it would go ngong, 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 and pull the child's head slowly towards it. Or am I like
real? That's
conflating
not
Chucky
real.
Chucky doll thing or
That
something?
can't be real. Is that real? I don't think that's real. That seems fake, but you know what? I also thought of somebody who had great smell as a hero would be fake, and turns out there's a thing. So what
Oh,
do
here
I
it is,
know?
the Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kid. So,
Really?
yes. Introduced to the public in 1996, the gimmick with the Snack Time Kid is it could eat, which means it would crunch on pencils, paper, shoelaces, and most disconcertingly, human hair and children's fingers.
Oh my gosh! Was it so powerful enough to just pull your hair until you were like in a?
Until it was probably stuck to the side of your head and hurting the crap out of you, yeah.
Oh, look at that! Snack Time doll eats children's hair. Wow, I
Yeah.
did not remember this. Let's see.
Because they didn't, there was no, it would not puke. It would only intake, no output.
Oh, we got
So
to.
there's no way to reverse it. And I'm sure, to like eat the plastic food that
Yeah.
that he came with, it was just like a roller basically, right? That
Oh,
would
yeah.
just
Easily, right?
Yeah.
Here's a commercial for it. Let's see how this goes.
Snack time kid, she really loves to snack. Wow, she really chews. Eating her is so much fun. Your bananas all gone. Let me feed her. And when you think she's through, look inside her backpack.
Oh, I was gonna say, when you think she's through, check the back end and see if there's a poo.
nice.
Wow. All right. Well, that kid just ate a bunch of fake French fries. That's what was going on there.
Cool. Well, just like regular kids.
Like regular kids. Yeah. Check for a poo.
All right, good. So keep your hair away from those Cabbage Patch nibbler dolls.
Brian, I desire to know more about how so like on whatever day it was.
Futurama?
No, you were setting something up on your 3D printer
Oh,
the
yeah.
other day, and it sounded like you were hardcore going for it or something. So what are you doing over there? What's
I
going on?
was. So over the weekend, I installed a new glass plate on my 3D printer on my Ender Scene Smart Ender 3 deal, which is $200 3D printer. This thing is a freaking workhorse, and it does a great job. So I'm printing a ton of these things for Matter Hackers. So it's a COVID relief deal.
Oh yeah, look at that.
The problem with these masks, wearing masks all day long, is that they cause calluses on the back of your ear. They hurt day after day. You've got those things that you constantly have to wear. Not just healthcare workers, but people in other businesses where they're forced now to wear a mask. And so Matter Hackers put out the call, said, all right, you have a 3D printer. Can we put you down for printing 100 of these things in a week? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, totally. Happy to do it.
That's awesome.
So I started doing this, and I put a little photo on Facebook, and now all of a sudden, and I'm totally happy doing this, but like people are like emailing me or messaging me on Facebook, hey Brian, could you print out a couple just for me, please? I mean, I'm having to wear a mask. Wicked Truth 1930 says makes my ears hurt a ton. If you want a couple of these, DM me. Slip into my DMs, not on Twitch, but slip into my DMs on Facebook or Twitter or something like that.
I
Let me know
believe
and
the
I'll print
term
up a
is
few for you.
slide into my DMs.
Slide it. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
this is how little I know about the current. Slip and slide, whatever. Slip
Sure.
and slide into my DMs.
There you go.
Water Willie, you're slip and slide into my DMs, and
If you slip in there, I don't know. Bad things happen. You got to be careful.
that's right.
You got to slide.
KK Slider into my DMs.
There you
Anyway, shoot me a message and I'll do it for you.
That's cool. So these, then what do you do? Pack them up and send them somewhere?
I do. I have to send them to California, and I've already got about 30 made. So about 70 left for the Matter Hackers thing. Although I'm going to probably, this is great because I've got all these rolls of filament where I don't really have enough to print a large model, and so I just like set it off to the side.
Yeah.
But these things take very little filament. They're super thin. I'll hold one up again to the camera. They are super thin. So printing these things, I can basically take all these unfinished rolls and
Oh, that's
and
a
use
great
them to
way to
make
use
these.
those too, because a lot of times you're like, I got to start a new roll on this particular project, or else
Exactly,
it's going to
exactly.
end. Yeah, that's great. That's very cool. Look at you
So-
being all eco-friendly at the same time while you're
I'm trying, I'm trying, Scott.
That's
so
doing your part.
so yeah.
That's awesome.
Moon John, shoot me an email and I'll send you the pattern, the STL for it. As a matter of fact, what I could do is even hook you up with Matter Hackers, and you can help support it if you want.
That's very cool. It's matterhackers.com maybe, or
Matterhackers. I believe it is Matterhackers. It is matterhackers.com.
Yeah, but Brian could probably do you like a official like introduction type thing, and
I could try.
get you hooked up. Who knows? Oh yeah, look at this. COVID-19, how I can help. Whole bunch of stuff on here.
There you go. And you can print these little extenders. You can even print like the plastic things that hold the face shields.
Yeah.
They asked me to do these, which I'm fine with because I can do 3 at a time and just knock them out, bust them out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about all this. That's very cool.
Yeah. Doing my part.
Is it going right now? Is it in there pumping out stuff now?
It is. Yeah, it's got. It's working on a dark blue set.
Yeah.
Takes about an hour and a half for each set of 3. So it really, I mean, I can, if I keep this thing going nonstop and keep tracking, or keep starting the next one right after the last one finishes, then, I can knock out about 36 of these in a typical day.
That's great. Very cool. Well done. When this is all over with, people will remember your name in hallowed tones.
That's right. And then I'll go back to printing Baby Yodas. Did I tell you that I found his hand? Remember when this Baby Yoda that I was showing to the camera lost his hand?
Yeah.
He now has a little stump.
Yeah, what you should do is do like, the old toys when we were growing up, like a Transformer or something. You'd have a button on the back and the fist would fly off like a missile fist.
Right, yeah.
You should make one of those. Have Yoda's hand go fire off.
Little kung fu grip, and he can go, I'll get that little metal ball.
Yep.
And he goes in.
Yeah. You can have some nondescript kids do a commercial for it and then say buy Galoob at the end or whatever.
Go, gadget hand, Yoda says.
Yeah. Baby Yoda
Season
hand.
2 of The Mandalorian.
I love it. I love it. All right. Time for this. Time for the news, everybody. Brought to you by.
Oh, that sound makes me so happy. With all of us being indoor kids for the time being, it can be tough to find something fun to do with the kids. So, what better than reading together? Have you ever wondered what our pets do when we're not around? Well, they eat string. One little boy might just have the answer. What does my dog Jack do at night? A new title from author Adam Mock brings to life the dreams of a child and his ideas of what goes on when we're not watching. Jack may seem like a normal dog, but he might just have a few tricks up his collar. With adorable illustrations by Segundo Garcia, Jack is sure to bring a smile while forgetting our troubles for a while. Great for ages 3 and up, this terrific book can be found at barnesandnoble.com.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
You guys are creative. I like when you're creative and you tell us about it and let us talk about your stuff. I think it's rad. Okay, and that's also that's a really easy domain name there at the end.
Totally, it's barnesandnoble.com.
Yep.
Buy your Nook while you're there.
They still have that. They still have that, right?
I think they still have the Nook. Yeah,
Good Nook. I liked my Nook when
it
I had it.
doesn't take as much space as it does in the Barnes and Noble stores, as much as it used to. Now it's kind of like a little shelf where you can get a new Nook.
You're not wrong. Oh, here it is. Yeah, they're still selling these. They've got some decent models and prices okay. I liked it okay. I liked that there was also some competition toward the Amazon thing, and I don't know.
Right.
Hope it. I think a third party runs that division now. It may even be Samsung or something like that.
Right. Because it's basically another Android tablet, right? I mean, it's still, you can do you can install other apps and things.
The ones that are tablets, yes, but the ones that are, they still have just regular
e-reader ones.
Yeah, they have the e-paper stuff or the what do you call that? E-paper.
Yeah, e-paper.
Those are my favorite. I like e-paper. You ever
seen e-paper? Touch it, feel it. Oh, don't touch it too much.
Barnes and Noble. I hope you guys make it through all this. All right. Oh, and also, I made a joke once because Tom Merritt owns both a Kindle and a Nook, and I like to call it Tom's Nook. It's pretty good, right?
Does it cost you 784,000 bells?
No,
because that's where I'm at right now.
Oh my gosh, dude! My daughter just did her basement expansion. Cost her 2 million bells. 2
million bells.
Yep. Do you see that update today they're doing? My gosh.
Yeah, which is good because I'm getting a little bored.
Well, yeah, the one thing about that game that has always been true is there's a certain ceiling, and when you hit it, you know it, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do something else. This, the fact that they're going to do regular updates is exciting because it will keep that game relevant and interesting and new stuff up. It's very smart that they're doing that.
Yeah, my store's going to close tomorrow for an expansion. I haven't.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm at the stage where my store is going to grow.
I don't know how to get that. I don't know what to do to get that.
I don't know either. I mean, have you gotten KK Slider to play at your island yet?
No, because I'm lame. But soon.
All right, do that first.
Soon.
Decorate. Put lots of fencing around your island,
Yeah.
apparently, is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you put fencing everywhere.
Yeah.
And then put flowers everywhere, and supposedly that'll get me there quick. I'm like 2 stars, so probably gonna take a day or so. But
I'm gonna fence right from my airport and make the most long, drawn out way to get from the airport to the store, which is like inches apart, right? And just make people go like a little path all the way around the island.
it's a horrible maze, like a hedge maze. That's a great
Right,
idea.
exactly.
I love that idea. Well, anyway, the game's pretty great, and just the fact that they're going to support it this way is great. So good job,
Yeah.
Nintendo. You've learned a
Yeah.
lesson.
Well done.
Well done. All right, here's the first story. We got this from Jamie, our good friend, TMS Mashups.
TMS
Jamie.
Mashups, Jamie. Cool.
This story came from him. Someone tried to clean money in a microwave. They were thinking, hey, what if we,
Well-
cleaned our coronavirus potential
I
off
wouldn't
this
do the
money?
coins, but
Yeah.
if you do a short enough amount of time, they do say 20 seconds or less actually does. Oh, yeah, but there's metal in that paper money.
That's
isn't
the
there?
problem. The newer bills from different countries, and I think the U.S. dollars. I'm not 100%
I think
sure.
that even has a little foil strip or something in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little indicator cardy thing in there, and look at what happened to that money. Just pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to take that currency now. I don't think. Maybe.
No. Well, there you go. Now even their paper money has holes in it, Scott.
That's right.
Canadian paper money follows follows the path of their coins, and now it all has holes in it.
That's right. Hey, Jeff Sire, you have a comment? You have any rebuttal here about your money? Oh, yeah, there's a little Canadian. I like their little. I like it. Canadian money looks cool. I like it.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it different sizes?
Or
Or is it all the same size,
I think
just different
it's
colors?
Different. I think it's same size, different denominations. I think.
Okay. I like the countries that do the different size bills so that if you're blind, you can kind of feel which ones are $1, which ones are $5, etc.
Oh, that's a good point. And thought of that.
Mhm.
If you, I have some Canadian money, but it's very old. It doesn't have this new design on it.
Mm.
And I don't even know why I have it. I just have some Canadian money, just laying around.
Yeah.
I wonder where I got that. Where did I get the Canadian money I have? Because it wasn't from Canadians.
Well, it had to be.
Well, I guess it had to be, right?
Well, I guess not. No, somebody could have visited Canada and said, "Oh, I'm going to bring Scott back some Canadian money." Maybe it was one of your kids. Have your kids been to?
No, it would have been
Canada?
before them. It was like money from the 80s or 90s.
Ooh.
Like I can't remember. And that's where I had the impression all your money had holes in it, Canada. I still think
See,
that.
Brucifer says it has Braille, which feels like a thing that would get worn down fairly quickly if your plastic money has Braille dots. After being in 1,000 different wallets and through ATMs and things like that, it seems like it would mash the Braille bits.
Stripper
down.
G-strings, you
Yeah.
name it. Yeah, and also maybe those are metallic and they popped in the microwave too. I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's the foil, the little security strip, and then you also can see the plastic window
Yep.
because part of the Canadian currency is clear, and so it melted the clear part too. I guess the whole thing is a polymer plastic. So
Well, I probably did clean the any traces of coronavirus from the money, but it also destroyed your money. So good job, well done. And they said sorry.
that reminds
by
me,
the
I'm
way.
going to do a really quick thank you to Dead Polymers, who sent me a CNC Coverville logo. Like
Like a CNC Music Factory Coverville logo.
like a CNC. He has one of those.
Oh,
cutting
look at
machines.
that.
Look at that! Like it's a piece of wood.
Oh man.
And I realized he did not include an email address in his letter,
Oh, so you
and so
say it out loud
I
here
couldn't
then.
thank him. But
Yeah.
I
That's
totally dig this, man.
really
It's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, dude.
Yeah, and I see he's in the chat room today, so it's like, all right, talking about polymer reminded me of that.
There you go. Very cool, dude. That's so nice. What a cool thing. I'll look at it longingly.
I do
from
feel
here.
bad. I do feel bad thanking him during the show because I mean, you get stuff too.
Oh, I
and-
get stuff
and
too. We get
I-
stuff all the
yeah,
time. Do not worry about
exactly.
that.
I feel,
Yeah.
I feel.
Every once in a while, I get like, look, I got these metal dice out of nowhere from somebody.
Yeah, see, and I didn't get those.
Brian
metal
didn't
dice,
get these
and-
metal dice. It's okay.
And you don't hear me crying on the show about it. I cry after the show when
Yeah.
I'm off camera and off microphone.
Right. We sob into our pillow later.
I curl into a little fetal position on the floor and say, "They don't love me as much as they love Scott. I didn't get metal dice."
Yeah, no, we're good, everybody. Don't worry about it.
We're good. Yes.
Also, my brother-in-law has the same CNC style thing. He could do more of this stuff. So, Steve, what are you doing, man? Make more cool things.
Cool.
I say that. He makes stuff all the time. It's not like he's not making things. All right, here's a story. By the way, it was
Yes.
$140 worth of Canadian cash, just so you know.
Well, and imagine you could probably take it back to the bank and say, can you exchange this? It's obvious that it's not counterfeit or something like that. They won't take it at the Tim Hortons, but maybe the bank will like replace it for them.
And then what would they do with it? I wonder. Would they just
I don't know. They probably just recycle it,
that's
shred
true.
it. and
I guess so. If you're taking
take
that
it out of
money,
circulation, basically.
because you take it. Oh yeah. So it's like if you wrote all over some money or cut it in half or any of that.
Right.
Money.
My $5 bill, Canadian bill, looks like Spock. Could I exchange this for one that doesn't, please?
Oh yeah, that Spock one. That was Canada, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
That was Canada, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday to the Queen! Still, Canada still has a queen too, and also Britain has a
yeah.
queen, and she turned 94 today. Jeez, Louise.
94. Give us a Philip.
Philip,
It's my birthday, Philip.
Very
What,
good.
what are you getting me for my birthday?
he just sits there and goes, because he can't do anything.
Sure.
Philip's useless. All right. Beyonce looks good for 94. Nice one, chat room. Okay. Because, she's the queen.
She's the queen bee.
A woman was fined for taking Turtle for a walk in Rome, Italy.
The character from Entourage?
Yes, Turtle.
Okay. Uh-huh.
He likes turtles.
That's a really deep cut from a TV show that has been on for 15 years or whatever it's been.
Been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I never saw it, not one episode. I don't know why, I just never did. Not my thing. Oh, I can tell you. I may recommend it tomorrow, so maybe I won't tell you.
Oh.
There's an
okay. Yeah, we're
HBO thing
watching-
that's really good right now. So
Really? We're watching a current thing that won't end by the time I recommend. Well, I've got stuff I can recommend. We've been watching stuff like crazy, man. So
I haven't seen
I get
Saul
stuff
from
I
last
can
night yet.
recommend.
Did you see it yet?
no, it was the finale last night. Oh no, I have a thing that I definitely have to watch tonight.
Gotta watch it tonight.
Finale. Oh,
I
full
know.
finale.
I know. I'm worried about Kim, but whatever. Not my wife, the character.
Yeah, things feel like they're coming to a head. Yeah.
That was a tense moment in the apartment, is all I'm saying. Didn't like
Oh
that.
boy.
Don't like that guy. Don't trust him.
No.
Also, I'm worried about Nacho. Somebody told me on the internet that Nacho is canon in Breaking Bad and that he's mentioned and is out there and is still part of the world. They never show him. But I don't remember when that was or what the deal is, so maybe Nacho's okay. I don't know, dude. Freaking Nacho. I worry about Nacho, even though Nacho's
totally
kind of
worried about Nacho.
He's got himself in his own trouble, but it's like Jesse Pinkman a little bit. It's like I kind of just feel for this dude. He's this show's Jesse Pinkman for me.
He kind of is, right? Exactly. I mean, he's in a bad. He's doing some bad things, but not nearly as bad as other people are doing. And
Chat room's yelling, "Shut up! We're not spoiling anything. None of that is spoilery. None of it.
yeah.
These are characters that you've never heard of or you've heard of and you already feel these feelings about them. This isn't spoilers.
Nacho was in episode 1 of Better Call Saul, if not or
Yeah.
something close to that.
You guys are fine.
Yeah.
All right. Here's this lady. She's an Italian woman. She took her pizza-sized turtle. I don't know why they did
In
that.
Italy, we measure our turtles by pizza.
Everything is relative to a pizza size here in Italy. She took her pizza-sized turtle out for a pizza-sized walk and has been fined 400 pizza-sized euros. $440 here in the U.S. by the Roman police for breaking strict coronavirus confinement rules. I could have sworn I just saw something move out of the left eye, but nothing moved. Hold on. Kim? Okay. It's not my wife. I saw a shadow. That was weird. Ghosts.
Little paranormal activity, Scott.
Yeah, I don't like that. No, sorry, I don't. Italians need a justifiable reason to be out on the street in the middle of the pandemic that has officially claimed more than 20,000 lives in the Mediterranean countries since February. Taking your dog out for a walk is viewed as a good enough reason to leave your home, but it seems if you're taking your turtle out, it is not. Roman police said the 60-year-old woman was caught outside her home without a justifiable reason, they said, and she was fine. The woman was walking her turtle. Roman police spokesman Nunzio Carbone told the AFP that the woman was fined €400 because, quote, it is not the justifiable excuse to walk your pizza-sized turtle. Italian authorities reported using a record 16,545 fines on Easter Monday.
Wow.
Easter Monday.
Yeah, I guess they just say the day after Easter.
Oh, okay. We say the day after Easter. They're weird.
Right, but it's 2 words to talk about a day that we probably all could figure out. I was like, oh, okay, Easter Monday.
I guess so. That's
Even
fine.
though there's not really a holiday called Easter Monday.
It's a national holiday. Oh, it says Easter Monday is a national holiday in the largely Catholic country.
Okay, never mind. Like, literally a dash, and it would have negated everything that I just said.
There's not even a period there, and we just didn't get to it yet.
Yeah, look at that, Easter Monday, sure enough. Okay.
It says here another 13,756 pizza-sized fines were issued on Sunday.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ordered pizza recently, but these things come in different sizes. Like, I can say, let me have a 12-inch pizza or a 14-inch pizza or a 16 or even like a family size. That doesn't help me know what size a turtle is. Is it a personal pan pizza size?
A personal pan
Is it
turtle?
a Stouffer's
Mm-hmm.
Stouffer's French bread pizza size? I don't know.
It's a little pizza pocket size, one of those.
I mean, I think it'd be easier for somebody to say, would you like a pizza? Oh, how big is it? It's about turtle size.
It's about
like,
the size of
that
a
would be
turtle.
more descriptive than a pizza-sized turtle. A turtle-sized pizza.
I agree. Oh, you're making me just want pizza, and that's not fair. I want pizza.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I have been... Okay, let me just say, let's give a little update.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time for a break anyway. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I've been great about the shug.
Mm-hmm.
Not so great about carb intake.
Yeah.
And I haven't gained a pound, which is weird. But I haven't lost any either. So I'm in a weird limbo point here, and I got to make a decision. And that decision involves, despite quarantine measures, to really knuckle down and knock off the carbs. And it's hard for me because I was on my way, man. I was
What, going out and running or something?
No, I mean, yes, I could do that, but I got to just eat less carbs. I just have to.
Okay, well, what does that have to do with quarantine? I mean, you can eat less carbs.
Oh, it's
without
all
breaking
emotional
quarantine.
shit. It's all just purely stress.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
100% stress. It's like, why does a pizza sound good today? For 2 reasons. 1, pizzas are good. And 2, that sounds like a great thing to drown my frustration in. Just, you know
Comfort
what I mean?
food, like a right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get you.
There you go, TVZ gone.
Oh.
Carbantine. There you go. That's where we're in. We're in carbantine.
Yeah, we've been obviously with the sourdough deal. You feed it, you dump a lot of sourdough starter into the garbage,
Yeah.
or you make bread with it every week. I made another loaf of sourdough bread. Came out okay. I need a different recipe that takes into account high altitude. I got to talk to Nicole and see what they're doing.
Oh, she can hook you up. She's good at that
Totally
stuff.
hooked me up.
Yeah.
But sometimes we use the starter for something like pancakes or made those great biscuits a while back.
Mhm.
But it is just, hey, guess what? Carb time. More
Yep.
carbs.
Yep.
Would you like more carbs? How
Yeah.
about some carbs?
How about
too?
carbs? You want some carbs? I got carbs.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
wants carbs. All right, we're going to take a break with some music that has 0 carbohydrates in it. Brian will tell us what it is, and when we come back, we'll have Bill and Jerry and more. So stick around. Brian, what's our
That's
song?
right. Well, it may have carbs in it, but they're the
I got one question for you.
Yeah, talk to me.
Can you name one Pokemon for me?
Yes, I've heard of Pokemon. Okay. Luigi?
The morning stream. That's my safety word.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
It's good to be back and ready for our next wave of good times, which involves Bill Duran joining the show. Talk to us about making stuff. He's a busy boy, making all kinds of cool stuff all the time. And we love having him on.
Busy boy.
Very busy boy.
Hasn't been making so much since lockdown because he can't get to his studio, sadly.
So instead he gives us...
Your bat cave's open there, Bill.
Bill Duran all the way from the Pacific Northwest and joining us each Tuesday as he does, talking about the world of makers and making things and all that. We've been talking about a little 3D printing at the top of the show. Brian's making some mask accessories for...
mask
accessories. Speaking of Hank Hill. Anyway, Bill joins us now, as he often does, and we're excited to have you. Bill, what's going on today, sir?
Well, like you said, haven't done a ton of making in the last week, but sorry. But I do have a fun story. Before I get to that, I do want to point out that Brittany and I have been playing a crap load of Astroneer.
Astroneer is awesome. That one? Yes, love that game. Very good.
It's amazing. It's space Minecraft with toy trucks and rocket ships, and it's been a really great way to distract myself.
Yeah,
and it's been a really fun thing to play with someone else and build. We had April in there building stuff. My twin brother. We had 4 of us in there. We all got in a rocket ship and we flew to another planet. And we built stuff. It was amazing.
It's very cool. It's like this. It's different than, it's obviously it's not, it's hard to compare it exactly, but it's not like No Man's Sky. It's got its own little thing with its terraforming and its sort of survival mechanics, and it's just it's a really cool niche-y thing. I love the style of it. The look of it is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the screenshots from this thing are really cool. Yeah. So is it like a Minecraft meets No Man's Sky kind of thing?
It kind of is. And it's kind of scratching the creative itch for me too, because you have to go out and find materials to build all this stuff for your base, and then you can pick up and plug and play all the parts of your base. You have to power everything, and then you can build a tractor, and then a bigger tractor, and then an even bigger tractor, and then you can drive that tractor all around the planet. It's amazing.
That's really life's main goal. Build a bigger tractor, drive it around the planet.
Yeah. I have all 3
bigger tractor.
Yeah.
I have all 3 sizes of tractor now, so I don't want to brag or anything, but they're really good tractors.
Yeah. I'll bet they are. Do you still have to do you got to do the air hose thing, right? You got to plant a bunch of
yes, the tethers.
The tethers, right. The tethers are a pain at first, but I actually kind of like how that stuff works later on in the game.
They give you a breadcrumb back to your base, which is nice.
Yeah, that's like this weird thing you didn't know you needed, because a lot of these games you're sort of lost if you go too far away from where you're at, and you're like, okay, where's the base? And sure, you can do that with icons, but it literally, because you have to create a tether for your oxygen tube, it literally makes a breadcrumb that you just kind of like find your way back. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've been doing a lot of that, but I also had a story, a 3D printer story to tell.
Oh.
I tried to make something this week. It did not go according to plan.
Okay.
So anyway, I brought a 3D printer home from the shop. We haven't been visiting the shop except for like once a week. And I thought, maybe I'll want to print something, right? So I'll bring a printer home. I got a couple of them. So I'm all set. So I grabbed my Lulzbot Mini. It's a great little 3D printer. It's easy to transport. It's kind of small. It's a quick printer. It's decent. And I don't need it at my shop. I have my Ultimaker set up at the shop, so I could spare it.
Sure.
Not that the shop is doing anything right now. But anyway, I brought it home, and I tried to print something to get it all set up, and the nozzle clogged.
Oh, no.
Have you had nozzle issues, clogging issues, Brian?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So that was attempt number 1, and I was like, man, this is supposed to be easy. So I started taking it apart, and I tried to pull the filament out, but it snapped off at the very top of the hot end thing.
Yeah.
So there's nothing left to grab.
No, yeah.
I'm like trying to poke it, like heating it up and like poking it with a stick from the top. I've never had to take apart a hot end before. Somehow I've lucked out. I've never had to do it before.
Jeez, I've probably had to do that a dozen times.
Wow.
And you can do the wire up the nozzle, like through the outdoor, basically.
Okay.
Or you heat things up and then you put more filament in, so that it connects. Then you let it cool down, and then you pull it out. But sometimes that doesn't work either.
Sometimes that doesn't work. I poked and prodded at it, decided to try and take it apart. I've never done that before, and you know what? All of my tools are not at my house. So I'm sure if I was at my shop, I have vices and every size wrench and everything, and I struggled with this thing for like half an hour trying to take it all apart. I have 2 Leatherman multi-tools, so I had 2 pair of pliers.
Okay.
It was, I think to describe it as a fruitless disaster would be accurate.
An understatement. Okay.
Yeah. So I finally gave up after I burned the same finger in the same spot the second time.
Oh no.
Nice.
Oh no.
And yesterday we went into the shop to fulfill some orders. So I brought this still broken printer back to the shop, and I left it there. And I
That's
brought
a good way to fix it too, is just get it out of your sight.
Yeah, and I brought the Ultimaker back home.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Yeah.
that was like the grand sum of my productivity for the week. We are also proofreading our next book. That's really that story wasn't as exciting. I read the whole book and I made a bunch of notes. That was mostly what I did last week.
Nice.
Other than burning my hand on a broken 3D
Well,
printer.
that's actually hugely productive, because that's
It-
the kind
it
of stuff
really
that's
is.
easy to put off and easy to say, well, we'll proofread later, because that's not, I mean, it's not fun. Proofreading
No.
and editing kind of sucks. I want to just put it out there. Whoever out there is a professional editor, you have my respect forever and forever, because that is a hard ass job, man. Just reading through books over and over and over, checking chapters again and again. Like, I know a lot of that is, can be done with machine learning these days, but it still takes a human thing, and I just have huge respect for that, because I couldn't do it.
I don't have any robots that can read my book for me yet. So
not yet.
But me and Brittany and Paige, we have 3 people working on it right now.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Actually,
and yeah, editing too. I'll tell you what, when you're reading stuff that you wrote before, or if you're watching video that you filmed of yourself talking, I don't know about you guys, but going through that sort of stuff is quite the exercise in humility.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
I'll say a thing in the video that as I'm editing it, and I'm like, who does this guy think he is?
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's tremendously hard to edit yourself, audio or video. Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, do I really make that face when I say that word?
Yeah.
Oh, every single time. God.
And then you're like, oh, it's me I'm talking about. It's me I'm the problem. I totally get
Or
that.
you read a sentence you wrote like 7 months ago, and you're like, was I drinking? Was I drinking when I did this? I don't remember drinking, but
sure.
It seems like a drunk person wrote this. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. And then even then, after all you do, after all that hard work, you'll still find out 6 months later somebody will send you a screenshot of your book and say, hey, you called this with a U instead of a Y or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
No matter how hard
Yeah,
you try.
a quick note that I remember. I was going through the book and something said, "Oh, and then cover that part in duct tape," right? And I was like, "Oh, that's good." And then I looked at the pictures that were now in the book, and it was masking tape, not duct tape. I was like, aha.
Oops.
No, that was just I used a different tape. I wrote that, and I meant to use duct tape, but I used a different tape.
Always use duct
But
tape. Always.
that's the stuff you gotta comb the book for, and let me tell you.
Yeah.
Not a good time.
Multiple passes. But I feel good about it, because now you're stuck there. You got to do it. So I'm sure you're going to do fine. I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, yeah.
Not worried at all.
Cool.
Well, this sounds great. Do you have any final things to leave with us today? A bonus link of some sort?
Yes, I have a video. It's not a maker video. It's a song, but that's fine to watch later.
It is
little kind of stepping on Brian's
Yeah.
toes a little bit.
You never sent us a song before. Crazy.
This is new.
No, it's a music video though, and it's just one of my favorite bands, Goldfinger, recorded their song Superman all at their houses.
Yeah.
And then a lot of bands are doing it, and I just think it's really cool.
That's all I can play,
Yeah.
or else YouTube will
And
ban me. But yes, that's awesome.
And I figure I got to bring up the ska contingent during the quarantine.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you don't pick it up, who will?
Yeah.
who's gonna, right?
That's right. Hey, by the way, on the wall there, I noticed a Michael Jordan thing. Can I tell you guys how excited and how I am dying to watch that documentary that just came out on ESPN?
How funny timing wise, because we didn't plan to do Space Jam because of the documentary, but the timing on it is pretty crazy.
No, it's totally crazy. But I'm hearing so many good things, and man, if there was ever a time in my life where I actually gave a crap about sports, in a way that was meaningful and hardcore, it was the 90s. And most of that was because of Jordan and everything around him and all those championships, but also it was the only decade where the Utah Jazz probably ever had a real chance to get a ring. And why didn't they get it? Because they just happened to be really great at the time. Jordan was better than everybody, so they lost because of him. Like, it's really, and it's supposed to be an amazing documentary. People are just raving about it. It's like Tiger King who? We're on to this Michael Jordan documentary now, so I'm very excited about it. So, Bill, your video has Michael Jordan in it. It reminded me of that, and therefore transitioned to something that was nothing about what we were talking about. So check out Goldfinger and their cover of Superman. It's not a cover though, is it? Is it a cover?
No. It's a recover of one of their own songs.
Of their own songs. Got it. All right. Very cool. Those guys are getting old. That's cool though. I'm old. I like it. Bill Duran is the guy who makes things over at punishedprops.com, and you can also find him on his YouTube channel, Punished Props. Look for his book soon. And Bill, we hope things continue to be okay on your end, man.
You got it.
We'll see you later. Bye now. Bye. All right. That was great.
Yeah.
Justin Robert Young incoming.
Yeah. There's another person who can pick it up.
Oh, he can totally pick it up. I wonder what his stance on ska is. We'll find out now.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young joins us from Oakland, California in a suit coat. I like
Look
this.
at you.
Yeah, let me show the channel.
Formal Tuesday, not casual Tuesday. Formal Tuesday.
That's a good look.
I mean, this is, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm just in my house. Like, what am I? What the hell else am I gonna do, guys?
Right. What else are you gonna do? There's nothing else to do. You just have to do that. Hey, what's your take on ska before we move on? Do you like ska music?
I mean, like any buddy who came of age through middle and high school during the 90s, there's a certain element of ska that will always touch my heart. But I was never a skanker myself.
Is that the term?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a term. That's fantastic. I like ska too. It was one.
Yeah, it was all right. I got a little weary of how clever it seemed that every ska band needed to cover another song from the 80s. It's like
yes,
that became a little wearying at a certain point. But I don't know. Yeah, I could go for ska in general. I'm sure, like, if ska came on now, I would definitely be like fired up about it.
Okay, well, good. This is good to know, and answers Bill's question. So, Bill, you can sleep well tonight. All right. Justin comes on Tuesdays. We talk about usually politics and stuff, as the world is in a certain brand of turmoil right now. We thought today might be aimed a little bit more at this current phase of states beginning to lift restrictions. And I just, before we get into what Utah's doing, what is California doing? It seems like people are pleased with its response for the most part. That models show it for the general part, it curved a lot of potential death and stuff that could, they avoided a lot of it by acting as early as they could. That sort of thing is. I assume that's still how people feel, but are they also feeling the pressure to reopen stuff and get moving?
Well, yeah, let's unpack that one piece at a time. Number one, just to give people a sense of the kind of issues that California faces, it has the second most populous state or city in the country in Los Angeles. Yeah. It has the second most dense city in the country next to New York City in San Francisco. So, like, there was quite a capacity for this to become a big unmitigated disaster, especially considering what you've seen in New York City, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So, I mean, by and large, I think that the governor and the mayors, certainly working in concert with each other, which has not been the case all over the country, did a good job. We are happy that there is not the death here, but I don't believe that California will be exempt from kind of the same stir crazy energy in general from everybody, no matter their socioeconomic station, but also those folks who are broke. You can only not have jobs for so long before the bank accounts go low and the credit card gets maxed out.
Right. So yeah, probably if we haven't heard California talk more about reopening segments of stuff, then we probably will pretty soon. So a lot of states.
Well, yeah. Wednesday, the governor is going to be giving his update. He laid out some very broad, like how we're going to reopen the state stuff. That was like, we'll need more testing and we'll need tracing, and it's like, okay, well, cool, dude. Let us know where we are on the path. But apparently he'll be doing that on Wednesday. So we will see. But obviously, this is a tricky situation.
Yeah. All right. So in our case, in Utah's case, people were also generally pleased with Governor Herbert's response and how he worked with state and local leaders and stuff like that to kind of do things. We're a different egg, obviously, than something like California or more densely packed populations. Things are kind of spread out here. Salt Lake City, while a city, is not gigantic, and it's also spread out in a way that is
sprawl.
Yeah, it's not jam packed like a New York would be or something like that. So in a lot of ways, we share some of this stuff in a much smaller way, but some of the characteristics of something like California. And so I think that benefited us, but also generally people were pretty pleased with it. One major factor here was the LDS Church is a big force here. A lot of folks are members of the LDS faith, and they were really early in this process, especially among churches in general across the country, to shut things down and say, do not come to church, congregations stay home, do not have your meetings every week. And they started this in like March, I want to say 9th or 10th. It was early. Relative early compared to anything else. And they've stuck with it, and that's still the case. And there haven't even been whispers yet of reopening that. So I think that made a huge difference, because there would be a tendency on the part of those congregations to take that seriously and to, keep their families in place and not, basically adhere to the rules. I think that made a gigantic difference. And it's also maybe a slightly unique difference. And I bet there are other communities that could say, oh yeah, well, here, this happened from either religious leaders or something else that's a big factor where we live culturally, and that had an impact and flattened the curve quicker or whatever. But now there is a lot of talk about, let's get things reopened. We've had our own protests here. Brian's protests in Colorado are a little more famous because of that lady hanging out of her SUV photo that got taken.
Right, with the healthcare worker standing in front blocking her way.
Yeah. And by the way, I found this out. I didn't know this because that image is really misleading. It seems like the nurse and the nurses who are in traffic are blocking traffic. They're actually not. They wait for the red light, stand there.
Well, that's what happened. That's what the police made the person do. There was an interview last night on the news with the photographer. Yeah. And initially, and none of it was staged, by the way. She happened to be walking by, and there's a video where you can actually see the person walking, the photographer walking by as all this is going on.
Right.
But initially, the healthcare worker was standing in front of traffic, and the traffic was trying to get by. Police were called. They said, here's what you got to do. You can get in the crosswalk when the light's red, but when the light's green, you got to step off out of the way. So for the first part of it, they were blocking traffic, and then for the second part of it,
I didn't realize that. Okay, I was reading a thing where it said that photo was literally just during the stopped traffic that would be stopped because the red light.
That might have been before, or it might have been when the light was green. But there was a switch over when that happened.
But congratulations, because you basically now have the iconic image of the stage of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Good job. Well done, downtown Denver. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. Justin, as far as like how I feel about reopening and stuff, we talked about this on text yesterday.
Yeah, well, here, hold on. Let me set this up here. So your governor, Gary Herbert, announced last Friday, and this was after the federal guidelines came out, that Utah would allow to let expire at the end of this month, which is basically next week, the shelter-at-home order that would close non-essential businesses. So restaurants, gyms, parks will be reopen. I don't know at what phase or whether or not there'll be additional restrictions, but those will be open in May. And so since Utah has not been heavily hit, I was just kind of curious what your take is on it, because I know that you've taken this extraordinarily seriously, even to the point of, not meeting up with your own kids.
Yeah, we have. So today will be the first day that we see Van, because, well, we see him every day on video conferencing, but to physically get to like be in proximity of him will happen today. And the reason that's happening today is because my daughter has an appointment she can't avoid at the doctor. I believe that's where she's going. Now this is all confusing to me, but anyway, I think that's where she's going. Her husband has to work. His job has never stopped because it was deemed essential, and so somebody needs to watch the boy. They've been incredibly careful over there. We've been insanely careful over here, so we're doing it. He's going to come over here today. We're going to be with him, and we'll take other precautions and stuff. But what I've generally sensed around here is that people are still going to be extremely cautious. The idea of gyms opening up will not have people rushing to gyms. That's my general feeling. I know that they'll get some, and those people are probably going to love it because those gyms are going to be really clean, and there'll be like three people
real
there.
Easy to get on your favorite treadmill.
Yeah. So I suspect that no matter when they started this up again, there was going to be a slow thing. There aren't people just piled up ready to go to the gym or ready to sit at a restaurant or whatever.
And it'll be slow on both parts. It'll be slow on the restaurants and the places like that do have to still implement social distancing guidelines. They still have to institute sanitary, Cloroxing down the countertops on a regular basis. And then there's going to be just people being cautious and saying, yeah, I can, but I'm going to stay at home and just be safe.
Yeah. My understanding is also there's still a phased approach to the restaurant side of this where in Utah anyway, I can't speak for any other states, but I think the way it's going to work is instead of curbside and or drive up being your limits, you can now go in and look at a menu, order your stuff. They'll bring it to you right there, and then you walk out, but you can't sit in there yet.
Right. May 15th is when I think they're going to be letting people go into restaurants here in Colorado and sit.
Yeah. And that's probably close to what we're doing, something like that. I'm not 100% sure actually on what that is here, but my expectation will be, and I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be cautious on the side of more cautious than the rules that are lifting up because I can be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like this isn't about me going, oh, I still don't trust her. I don't trust the government. Or this is me saying, all right, well, I already do my entire business from home, from a home studio. So really, I don't need to be the guy that's like, all right, I'm back in it. Yo, let's get out there and let's have a concert or whatever. Instead, I can still do that sort of distancing that I think if enough people do it that can do it, that still helps. So that we should probably still do that. And then those who are just, in dire straits, they're broke, they need to get up, they need to get to their jobs, they got to do what they got to do. These will really help them. So I don't know. I feel like this is as good time as any, but then an expert will get on and somewhere and say, well, here's the problem. We really haven't peaked in these areas and we haven't done this. And so some of that really concerns me, but maybe I don't know.
Kind of, as bummed as I am for the folks in Tennessee and Georgia who are worried about this and who are going to be put into situations where maybe things are happening too quickly, it does become a kind of a guinea pig situation for the rest of the U.S. to see how things work in a small compact city like Memphis or Atlanta or things like that, to see how things go, and then we can say, oh, you're right, that was too quick. All right, back to restrictions in the rest of the U.S.
It's a horrible experiment.
Well, I guess, but that's the weirdest thing about all this is that we aren't talking about we can't talk about the U.S. like we would talk about Italy or Spain or even the UK. Right. It's just such a larger area. Like if we are talking about social distancing, not only do we have more people, but we have so much more land, right? Like there's just so much area that, yes, everything is interconnected. Yes, we can get everywhere. It only takes one person to start spreading things. But that's what makes this a tricky situation is that for folks in Tennessee, for example, who, by the way, did a large part in memeing our way into a lot of these shutdowns, because it was at the voluntary everybody stay out of the bars stuff that led to a famous Saturday night in which like all of Nashville's bars on Broadway were just packed to the brim.
Right.
And then
Lines
the next
going out the
week,
door.
the next week, a lot of these, both in Tennessee and then across the country, a lot of harder core restrictions came in. But for them, they're like, look, we never really got hit by this. Like, this is a New York thing. This is a big city thing. And whether or not that's wise, whether or not that is as far as we're going to see it publicly, there's no denying the fact that that is a sentiment.
Yeah.
And whenever you're dealing with anything in terms of governing what people can do publicly, you have to understand the sentiment, if even just a message against it.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's the thing I was saying yesterday. I guess it wasn't the show, though. I was talking on some other show. I don't remember what it was, but I was talking about
other shows.
Yeah, I have a few others that I do. I was on this thing. We got talking about it. Oh, it was the Boop Show with Brian Dunaway yesterday, and I said to him, I get this feeling. I understand. It's a very human thing to feel the stir crazy, to feel it even more when you just feel helpless and can't do anything. And if one of those things you can't feel like you can do is get bread on the table, it's just the most frustrating thing, and it's natural and it's human to feel this way. And even to some of the extremes of, I try to put myself in the shoes of people best I can. It's harder with the lady hanging out of the SUV, but even in her case, I understand the frustration. I understand that she probably doesn't have a lot of good empathy skills either, and maybe that would help, and that she should maybe have a more even-keeled approach to the world. However, I get it. I get the primal thing that people are feeling right now, and the hard part for me is just knowing it's when things start to get this hairy and people are fighting so hard about this. That's the part I like the least, because now we're not only, for a while we were kind of post 9/11, we were working together.
Were we?
A little, tiny bit, just some. More than we are now. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
A taste of it. We had a taste of it. A little taste of community. Okay, you know what?
Maybe I'm too dialed into the politics stuff, but there was never really a sense of we're all in this together.
Yeah, maybe on 9/12 we did, but certainly not on 9/13.
Okay, I'll say.
No. I mean, the 9/11 stuff was real.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the public demonstration of it, the whole unhyphenization of America and that I remember that and feeling that clearly. And part of this, I think, is because we decided to have, whoever programs this simulation decided to have the once in a century pandemic during an election year here in America. But I don't know if there was ever an element in which we were all in this together in the way that 9/11 happened.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, given the circumstances, there was certainly more a month ago than there is today. That's all I mean. It's a relative change. It was never.
Well, I think we're kind of fraying, right?
Yeah.
There's 22 million people that are out of work, and that's probably undercounted. There are, we can describe, and look, the three of us are in a very advantageous position because we do make our money at home, and in a lot of ways, shelter at home we were doing before it was cool. But at the same time, this isn't necessarily just even people who have gotten to the end of Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of people with empty fridges and freezers and no way to get food because they were depending on paychecks that now aren't coming.
Right.
And if that is the case, then, there is just an element here that that we have to be sensitive to and understand, and either through government intervention like they did with the $1,200 checks that came in, more for couples and specifically couples with kids, but that goes fast, right? Like that $1,200 is certainly welcome for everybody, but I don't see a lot of people still talking about what they're going to do with that check. I think they knew fairly quickly what it was going to happen. So I can understand where the passion behind the protests are. Although, oh my God, I went down a rabbit hole on who registered those domains.
Yeah.
There's some wacky stuff happening there that is probably its own segment. But like, even then, no matter who registered the domains, no matter who set up the Facebook groups, no matter who's trying to scrape these people for their data so they can be used for God knows what, the passion's there. That's why they're taking advantage of the fact that people are cooped up and have certain feelings about what government's role in society is and disagree with how it is being flexed right now. Like that is something that is real. And it's something that I have thought of as a ticking clock from the beginning here, because I think especially online, people kind of want to think about this like it's The Sims, right? Yeah. And we can just order everybody into their house and they'll stay there.
Right.
That's not the case.
Right. It's not.
Like at a certain point, there really is a ticking clock where, for reasons either understandable or not, people are just going to get the hell out. And then you have to make the call on, well, how much do we enforce this?
Right. Then there was the time.
How much?
There was that time in The Sims where I locked a dude out of his own bathroom because the new toilet I bought him blocked the door, and I left to answer the door, came back a half an hour later, and he had peed himself to death. So
yeah.
So even The Sims doesn't even like have the perfect time most
I
of the
think
time.
that happened at one of the protests here in Colorado.
No, did he just peed himself to death?
Just
Okay. Well, that's
yeah.
no good. Yeah, no, you're making really good points. It's so funny because it's just hard to have well, that's why we're doing it here. Like we just there are very few venues where I feel like this kind of conversation can happen without the vitriol or the you're putting us all to, there's the two extremes. You're going to kill people by going to the gym.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it's I'm going to die if I can't get work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's nobody's in the once again, the middle is like this desert of nobody's talking, or if they are, we don't get to hear them. So,
well, that's that we were going back and forth on text yesterday, and initially you were like, "Oh, well, let's talk about the Trump liberate tweets," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, we can do that, but I don't know if anyone's really even going to remember them in 2 weeks because it was only a month and a half ago we had a little thing called an impeachment, like that nobody seems to have remembered." So,
yeah.
I don't think the tweets are necessarily going to survive, but also, when I was initially talking to you, you're like, yeah, I don't really have a big take on stuff. And I'm like, well, I think that now, especially with this, let's have a lot of small takes.
Yeah, little
let's
takes.
have a lot of like, I kind of think this, I kind of think this, because I kind of think this and I kind of think this meets with a lot of I kind of think that and I kind of think that, right? And we can come to a more moderate understanding of this kind of stuff as opposed to having everything be a whole.
Yeah, it's like a dim sum approach to the conversation rather than the Texas Roadhouse approach, which is just give me a potato, give me a giant steak, and let's eat. So yeah, I'm with you. Let's take little bites, little bits, little stuff. My big question yesterday about those tweets wasn't really about the tweets. It was him kind of putting his weight behind, hey, get out there and protest. Does that help or hurt him in November? And I don't. And the more I thought about me asking you that, the more I thought, well, how the hell do we know that until November? Like, there's no way to know this.
No,
early.
I mean, this is what I've said from the beginning of all this is that we're in a time warp right now, like, and all of our compasses are just kind of like constantly like circling around and around and around. At a certain point, we're going to be out of the time warp and we're going to see what the true north is. And we're going to have a little bit more of an idea of where the political gravity of everything here is. Yeah. But like, until then, I mean, who knows? Who knows how anybody's going to look at this? Who knows whether or not some of the stuff that is being hampered on right now by the opponents of the president are going to stick, whether or not the points that the president is making is going to stick. Because what we don't know is where America's going to be in 2 months.
Yeah.
We don't know where the rest of the world's going to be in 2 months. And we don't know where we shake out amongst all that.
Yeah.
You know, if part of this is, you know, like, okay, well, it could have been totally prevented. I don't know how well that argument continues to go, like, in terms of like none of this needed to happen in America. You know, certainly there are ways that we can go back and look and say, okay, well, certain things could have happened differently. But if you look at how much this has wreaked havoc across the world, you know, who knows, right? Maybe that argument does still stand up. Maybe in November, that's the thing that gets Biden elected is like, oh, nothing needed to happen. Or maybe we look at gigantic death tolls in, you know, the UK and Russia and even Japan, which, you know, some might say maybe we didn't get totally transparent numbers with Japan while they were trying to save the Olympics. We'll see. We'll see exactly how that shakes out, considering now that they've announced a state of emergency.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know. And so that's why it's like the Liberate tweets, I think they're going to be something that nobody even remembers in a week.
Sure.
The real things that will matter here, I think we've yet to see, because no matter the fact that it seems like this quarantine has lasted for 6 months, we're still in the middle of it.
How do you feel about this recent news? This is my least favorite thing about recent changes in the study of the disease itself, is that apparently it's more impactful if you have testicles. So men, enjoy your advantage, or your disadvantage over the women, because apparently it likes to nestle all up in your nuts and wreak havoc and stay longer and be worse. So that's a thing. They've all got preliminary testing, but they're working on this theory. And boy, oh boy,
and that's the thing, is that we don't even really know basic elements of this.
Yeah.
Like we're still debating the death rate on it. Like, we don't know how much it's infected everybody.
Right.
We don't know its infection rate. And part of that is because we are still kind of processing data that we've gotten from Italy. And Italy was the first country to be kind of free and open about the data that they were gathering.
All right. Plus, plus there's all this stuff about carriers and why they're asymptomatic is much higher with this than previous COVID.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what
weird.
The base strokes of why we know that this is so insidious is that it infects you, it remains asymptomatic, yet you can spread it for a fairly long amount of time, and then it hits you hard, and then it also has a fun little like, oh, you're getting better. No, you're not. Like kind of a trick to it. So this is vile. This is nasty, and it's the reason why the big worry, and this is why we really shut stuff down. We didn't shut stuff down necessarily because people would die. Like, obviously you don't want anybody to die,
right.
But people die for a lot of things. We shut stuff down because we didn't want unnecessary deaths of the hospitals getting jammed, and now people are dying because they can't get the right care at the right time or care at all.
Yeah.
Like that was the reason why all these COVID models, like the IMH or the IHME model, the Chris Murray model, the big things that they show are resources, all beds, ICU beds, and invasive ventilators, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is about whether or not we're going to be able to weather peaks, and that's why getting the curve down was important.
Right. Well, I don't know. Here's hoping that the initial effort made a giant difference and that we don't end up with a second peak that's worse than the first. And and we'll see. You know, the one thing that is different is that, you know, we're gonna know the one thing I thought that was actually really, really clever in the White House guidelines was the fact that they're relying on the influenza-like illness tracker. Are you familiar with this? No. What's this?
Is this the tracing?
It's not the phone thing, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. So there is the thing, and you can look it up on the CDC now. Their last week of it, week 15, was in early April, but it's the influenza-like illness tracker, and what it's used for is the flu season.
Oh.
And so they publish how many people are coming into the hospital with influenza-like illness symptoms. So the cool thing about that is that there already is a network in place that already reports. Everybody already knows how to do it in hospitals because they do it all the time. But they noticed that in certain cities, in certain states, that was the earliest warning sign for COVID. Because people would come in with influenza-like illness symptoms, and they would be counted among that, which is part of the reason why the stats for our flu season were so heinous this year.
Right.
But now the flu is kind of cycling out, which means that anybody who comes in with an influenza-like illness is highly likely to be a COVID-19, somebody that at least is worthy of a test. But that would be the first kind of canary in the coal mine. And that's what the federal guidelines are based on, is that you have to show a 14-day consistent drop in that number, as well as confirmed cases, which obviously is dependent on testing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I hope we made a dent, man. I just do. And if you ever been in an outdoor concert and they only had one porta-john there, one porta potty thing, that's what we're doing to the healthcare system. That's the idea. It's like, here's the line of way too many people for one toilet to handle. It's that. Although I'm not saying the healthcare system are a bunch of toilets. You guys are great and awesome and keep up the great work. But you know what I mean? We're overwhelming it, and that's the whole point. That's the entire thing. Like,
luckily, I mean, we did not have the ventilator deaths that Italy did.
Right. That was pretty bad.
That's a great, obviously. Obviously you don't want to have that kind of situation going forward, but it doesn't look like the UK is having that either, which is fantastic, right? That's what you want. But it does show that the more people are prepared, the better we can handle it. And when we talk about a second wave coming, as there are the weather gets a little colder again, which would theoretically be right around election time. LOL.
Yep.
Hopefully we are not only on guard for it, but tracking, tracing, testing is just on another planet compared to where it is now.
Yeah, the testing, man. That's the thing. Testing, tracking, a vaccine, hopefully, eventually, all those things.
Yeah, vaccine will be next year. The big thing now, and this was something that Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci laid out, was the goal is not to have the testing that we have now be run 300 million times a day.
Right.
That's not, that's partially infeasible, but even if it was, that's not the goal, because this is so contagious that the test doesn't mean much as soon as you take it.
Right.
The bigger test is the antibody test, and that's something that's rolling out now so people can understand where their immunity levels are.
All right. Well, before we sew things up and give you a chance to tell people about what you got going on this week, I did have the misfortune of seeing a TikTok video of somebody getting the COVID-19 swab test. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be informed about how those tests work, but good Lord, this thing felt like it looked like it was three feet long, and it went back up through their head, out their ear, and affected 8 other people behind them. That was how bad it looked to me. It looked so bad. And I hope they get like a better pinpricky.
Well, as I understand it, at least that was the earliest test.
Yeah.
And now there is a front of the nose test that does not have to tickle your brainstem with a cotton swab.
That's good.
And then the hope is that there is a pinprick of blood test fairly soon. But part of it is also we just don't know it. We don't understand the disease.
No.
We're still figuring out what the disease is. And that's where, man, when we talk about, the lack of information on this from a country that I won't name that did not was not particularly forthcoming either to us or the WHO, then man, that could have really helped.
Yeah. Sure, I understand. And by the way,
could have helped a little bit.
Could have helped. 100% agree.
And the CDC screwed up our test. The CDC way screwed up our test. There was a great article in the Washington Post over on Sunday about how bad the CDC screwed up to the point where the FDA had to yell at them.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, could have, the test could have been further along if we would have known more about what the disease.
Yeah. We kind of chilled out in February, but that's a different topic for a different day. All right. Well, hey, Justin, what are you doing this week that people should tune into and catch before the world opens up again?
Well, of course, the politics podcast, politics, and then the political stream. They're on Twitch right after TMS. Twitch.tv/Justin R. Young.
I think we'll raid you today after things are over here.
Yeah.
Excellent news. Have a good one. Take it easy. Be safe. Be healthy. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye now.
See ya.
He should be required to wear a suit coat at every episode.
I think so. Yeah. It makes him a little more credible.
Yeah.
Usually I don't think he's terribly credible, but when he wears a suit jacket, I believe everything he says.
Every word that comes out of his mouth is truth.
Yeah.
All right. A quick reminder. Tonight continues my part 3 playing of Resident Evil 3 Remake with myself there and John Jagger at my side, trying not to laugh at me as I do stupid things. So if you want to watch that, it'll be live tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time right here at twitch.tv/frogpants. You're all welcome. So come check it out. We are also
expect lots of shites.
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot of shits.
No.
Yeah, that thing, whatever that is. I don't even try to do it. It just happens. It comes out.
Yeah.
I might make little sounds. I do that sometimes. So who knows? But check it out. That's tonight, again, at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. All right. Hey, support us over at patreon.com/TMS if you like this content, if you think it's helpful for you during this time or other times or any time. Now's the time to join up if you haven't, because on Friday you get a bonus show, and that's the only way you get it, over at patreon.com/TMS. And for those who have just joined Patreon, you're wondering how that works, you'll get a live link right there when we go live on Fridays. It's an embedded video thing, and you'll get to see it live if you want, or you can get the podcast later on the feed there on the Patreon site. The rest of you who don't get that, consider it, because you might enjoy that ad-free experience. It's a good time over there.
That's right.
At
Plus,
Patreon.
you get the Patreon play dates. Next one coming up May 2nd, Saturday, May 2nd. So
yep,
be there. And I think we might try and get Dunaway to stick around and Jordan to stick around after Film Sack.
That'd be cool. What did we pick a time? We saying 1 to noon? What are we doing?
I think last time we did right after Film Sack.
We could do that if they're down. Okay, we'll confirm that and then let everybody know. And if not, we'll give you a set time. So anyway, that's coming up soon. That's the 2nd. Very exciting. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. Let's play a song and go. What do you have?
Sure. Tom Walter wrote in, said, "Hello, Brian. One of my first 2 albums, both of which were gifted to me on my birthday in the